Hey everybody. Everybody's tuning in quick today. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Season 6. It's here. Finally. Thank you, Lord. Accepts. Hey y'all. Oops. Hey Patricia. Okay.
All right, hold on a second.
Uh-oh. Something happened. Something happened. Hey Ebony. Hey everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We got some technical difficulties. Y'all got to see this. I wish I could show y'all this stand that I have. Oh, Lord. Wait, here we go. I got this phone propped up. We waiting on Mo. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much. I don't know what I'm doing to my hair at this point, but I'm trying to make it work, y'all. I don't know what happened to Mo, but until then, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just so happy to be continuing this 6th season of I'm a Praying Wife Live, and our guest, she's back. Hold on one second. Let's see. I love you. It's Lip Bar by the Lip Bar, y'all. Thank you. My lipstick is by the Lip Bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hi.
Hey. So for everybody tuning in, my name is Carrie Elon Moore, and I am the owner of Queenpin, which is a faith-based button pen company that uses the Word of God to encourage believers and non-believers worldwide. With the release of our pen, I'm a Praying Wife, right here. I produced a small film called the Praying Wife Project, and the purpose of this is to encourage wives to never give up on their marriages, and to give women who aren't married some type of insight on what it takes to be married. With the height of social media, we think that marriage is just about getting a white dress, beautiful pictures, and that's it. But it's way more to that. So I've been interviewing different women on different topics, about miscarriage, infertility, you name it. We've been interviewing people. So for this season, I wanted to highlight women with larger platforms to show that no matter the fame, fortune, or success that you have, that there's still a need for Christ, not only in your life, but particularly in your marriage. So today we have Monique Rodriguez, and I wanted to personally choose her to be on here today because she's inspired me. Hold on one second. Oh, did she leave? Oh, shoot. She was stuck the whole time? Okay. Y'all, we trying to get this together. I know Mo is. Oh, shoot, y'all. You back?
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this live. I
I
don't
don't.
know. I haven't done a joint live in so long. Can you hear me?
I hear you, but I can't see you.
You can't see me?
No, I could just see you stuck in one position.
Oh my goodness. Can you guys see me on here? The people that's leaving comments, can y'all see me? I see myself. You don't see me at all?
No. Oh, they said they can see her, but I can't see you.
Okay. Huh. Maybe. Oh, I need to update my phone. Yes, no, I have not updated my phone.
Oh, no. I can see both of you, but I can't see you. It was kind of. I can see her. Wow. I can't see you. This is not cool.
Yeah, no.
Um,
You want me to try to go out and come back in again?
yeah, just try one more time.
Okay.
Let's see.
All right.
I can't see you at all. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I need to update my phone. Okay, hold on.
Sorry, y'all, but I can't see her, and that's gonna be kind of weird if I just can't see her and only y'all can see. Okay. She's back. Let's see. Let's get Mo on the main line.
Okay. How was that? Can
Yes, we back. Yes.
okay. You can hear me too, right?
I can hear you and
Oh,
see you now. Thumbs up. Okay,
I'm
cool.
great.
So so with that, I just wanted to highlight Monique in particular because she's standing firm on her faith no matter the position that she's in. And I think that's a big deal for me. So without further ado, I'll let her finish introducing herself and then we'll get into it.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show. I think what you're absolutely amazing because we need more people that continues to glorify God, especially in the marketplace. Um, because ministry doesn't just happen within the four walls of a church. Like it happens in everyday life, our careers, everything that we do. We should always be spreading the word. But for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Monique Rodriguez. I am the CEO and founder of an amazing hair care company called Mielle Organics. I started the company 8 years ago in 2014 with just an idea and a passion for beauty and hair products. And that idea, that passion turned into a very successful business that has been truly a blessing, that has grown extremely fast to us being the number one fastest, largest African American female led and owned hair care company in the world. So nothing but I'm doing a live. Oh, can I say hi? Mackenzie wants to say hi.
Hey, I
Um,
think it's so amazing that y'all share the same birthday. Like that's
yeah, all three of us. Yep.
yeah, right. I think that's so sweet.
Yeah. All right. See you later. So okay, yes. So I was just saying, you know, Mielle is the largest African American female led hair care company in the world, and you know, it's been truly just a blessing. Like I know that I have not accomplished this in my own strength because I had no business background, did not go to business school, did not go to finance, like any of that. Like I was a registered nurse taking care of patients, um, delivering babies. Like I did all of that. So like not having any type of business experience. Why she ain't close the door? Hold on. Sorry.
It's all right.
Not having like any type of business background or business experience, and to grow a company to the level that it is now, being a global beauty brand, like I didn't do that. That's nothing but God. So that's why I'm very vocal about my faith and knowing that, you know, Mielle also came from a place of a painful situation that led me to my ultimate purpose. Um, you know, I knew that God's favor and his hand is all on what I do, my life, my company, my family, because it's, you know, sometimes I have to pinch myself like, wow. And I just look up and I'm like, thank you, God. Like, I know that was nothing but you. So he continues to amaze me and blow my mind in exceedingly abundant blessings. Like that's one of my favorite scriptures is Ephesians 3:20, because literally he has done just that. I had an idea. I was not expecting like the company to do what it's doing and this fast. So he just speeded up the time frame because I was like, okay, my company, you know, I'm gonna hit this mark at 10 years and this mark at, you know, 20 years and so on and so forth. But the things that I said that I would hit at 10 years, I did it within like 2 years and 3 years. And so, you know, it's been truly a blessing and a journey. Not always an easy journey, but a journey that's worth it.
And I really like your story because this guy has said something that really kind of stung me on Instagram. And he gives out a lot of advice. And he was just like, if you haven't been in the game for 10 years, you need to keep moving. Like you are not gonna be where you need to be. It takes at least 10 years to get where you really want to be. And I was just like, the stuff that you've done. When I was watching an interview of you earlier, it was in like 2019. You had only been in business for what, 4 years, and you have been in what, Target, Kroger. You said all the beauty supply stores in 4 years. That's amazing to do that in 4 years.
We went into Sally's after being in business for a year, like 1 year. I started the company in 2014. We had our Sally's meeting in 2015. And we entered into the store in the beginning of 2016, first quarter of 2016, because that's when the stores reset. But like new brands, they don't get a meeting with a major retail partner after just being in business for a year. Like that was so rare. Like, and people were like, people that have been in business for years is looking at me like, okay, what is she doing? But because it doesn't happen. But again, like, you know, I've always had the mindset of, you know, speaking things into existence and, you know, always being very optimistic. So like by the book, it says that you may not be successful, or, you know, within 5 years, you'll see if your business fails or continues on. Like that's textbook, like what they teach you, right? And what you research online. But I'm like, listen, the guy that I serve, he's like, I'm gonna accelerate you, right? Because your acceleration is gonna be for my glory, because people gonna know that it's not you that's doing it. They're gonna know like it's that's my power. Because again, like I went into my Sally's meeting, didn't know what I was talking about, like didn't know how to put on a presentation. Like I just knew that I was really passionate about like what I was delivering. That was great products that served myself, my family, and also the community of women that I was speaking to, right? So I just went in there with a passion, but my passion exuded, and you know, my passion really showed in that meeting, and that's what they bought into. You know, it wasn't the corporate savvy things that they're normally used to. It was like something's different about her, and they took a chance on me. And they took a chance because, you know, one of my prayers is that when I go into rooms, that favor is upon me. So when people see me, they don't see me in the flesh. They see God's spirit through me, and that my name is mentioned in rooms, and my name is mentioned in places that I didn't even think my name would be mentioned in. Like that's the favor of God. So I always say that, like, when I have to go into a meeting, when I'm preparing for something big, I make sure that I ask God to let his light shine through me so other people can see it and not see the flesh. And when they see that light, no matter, you know, what they practice or, you know, what they worship or believe in, like that spirit is so strong, it's going to resonate and they're going to receive it. They're not going to know why or understand why, but that's the spirit of God.
Has there ever been a time where you felt like someone or a deal was compromising to your faith and you didn't accept it, or like how did you handle that? Like somebody like, well, you can't say this, or you can't. Yvonne Orji made a book, Bamboozled by Jesus, and she said she wasn't getting a lot of book deals because they told her to take Jesus from it. And she said, well, I'm not doing that because that then depletes the whole purpose of the book. So have you ever been offered a position that wanted you to compromise your faith?
I would say conversations have attempted to be started, but I shut them down. Like I'm not going to even entertain it because, you know, my values and my morals, and that's just like with anything, right? You know, my values and morals that I have, I'm not going to sacrifice any of that, my beliefs, for any type of opportunity, because I feel that if you have to stoop to a certain level, or if you have to sacrifice who you are, or diminish your values to fit in an opportunity or to fit in a room, then that room is something, or opportunity is an opportunity that you don't need to be a part of, right? And so I don't even entertain conversations like that, because I'm, again, like you shouldn't have to do that to have an opportunity or to feel like you're going to be successful. Like anything that's for you, that's a part of your destiny, you don't have to force it. You don't have to manipulate the system to get it. Like if it's for you, it's just going to happen for you. Like, you don't have to do anything. It's just going to happen divinely. And, you know, I live by that, that philosophy.
So when you said about your going back, so to your nursing background, a lot of people assume that they hate their current levels, that where they are right now. They like, oh, me working at the post office doesn't mean anything. Me working here doesn't mean anything. But I try to always encourage people that your current level, God is doing something there. So can you go back to how, like, your nursing degree, or you just being in that field, like, God used as a stepping stone to where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be honest with you, at that moment, working as a nurse, like, I had the same feelings. Like, man, I hate my job. I don't want to go work today. Like, you know, because you're in the moment. And, you know, I was also young. Like, I was in my whole 20s is I worked as a nurse, right? So, you know, maturity level is not really there. So I did have those thoughts of, like, you know, I just want to walk off my job. I want to quit today. But I also knew that I had responsibility, so I couldn't just walk away and quit, right? You have to do things in the right divine time and order. So I went through that season, but coming out of that season, what I learned and understand is that every part of your journey is an assignment by God for your next chapter in life. You may not understand and know what it is or why he has you in that moment or on that assignment, but it ain't for you to understand, right? Maybe 10 years later, 5 years later, it'll be revealed to you and you'll understand why. Because here I am, you know, 8 years later. I started the company when I was 30. And here I am 8 years later, and now I can look back and say, now I understand why. And it was even sooner than that. You know, when I first started the company, like, I knew that, you know, my nursing career was a very important piece of the assignment that I needed to be on at that time, at that moment. I needed to learn. I needed to get the experience, right? In order for me to do what I'm doing today. Like, I credit a lot of the things that I do today to my nursing career. And who knows, if I did not have that assignment at that time, would I know all of the things that I know now? Would I have been able to build the company and you know, create and think and vision the formulas and the products that I wanted to create if I didn't have that background, right? So it was all a part of my journey. I didn't understand it then when I had to go to work, and I used to work nights, and I had to be on call, and I had to get up and leave my family in the middle of the night and go to work. No, I didn't understand it, but now I see why God had me there at that moment, because that moment was a humility moment of teaching me patience, teaching me how to build relationships with people, teaching me how to, somebody on here said critical thinking, teaching me, like, you know, science and drugs and chemistry, like, all of that came together to do what I do today. And so, you know, I look back and I'm like, I am glad that I, you know, became a nurse. And also I know how it is on each side. Like, I know how it is to, you know, work a 9-to-5 job. And I also know entrepreneurship, right? So
Right.
I can relate to both people on both sides. I can relate to the woman that's at her job and trying to figure out a way out. Like, I can relate to her because I've been there. And I can also relate to the woman that's, you know, have an idea, trying to start a company, and she's, you know, trying to build a brand and looking for resources and help. Like, I've been on both sides, so I understand, right? I have two different perspectives, right? That allows me to gain wisdom and knowledge to then pour that back into somebody else that's looking up to me, wanting to do the same thing, right? I didn't come from a rich family. I wasn't born into wealth. But I accumulated it because of the assignments that God had me on in each journey and chapter in my life. Like, it's always purposeful, and all things work together for the good.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of all things work together for good, switching over to something a little less not exciting, but not painful, but just switching over to something else. You talked about how you suffered a big loss a few years ago, and exactly how did that propel your purpose in what you're doing now?
Yeah, so obviously, you know, going through the loss, I went through a loss in 2013 with my pregnancy. I was eight months pregnant with my son, and you know, he passed away due to the high risk pregnancy. And when I went through that, it was just a moment, number one, of deepening my faith spiritually and developing a closer relationship with God, because you know, I didn't grow up in church. You know, I was not really exposed to like the Bible and, you know, spirituality. I kind of discovered church on my own, and I kind of had one foot in and one foot out. And it's really not about religion. So I just want to make sure that people understand that, like, it's not religion. I don't worship religion. But what I do appreciate and what I value is my relationship with God, right? Because that's what it's about. And really, God cares about the posture of your heart. Like he does not care what religion you practice. He cares about the posture of your heart. And, you know, I didn't really understand that growing up, right? But when I went through what I went through with my son, you know, nobody can help you get through a situation like that, right? You know, granted, I have a great support system. You know, I have my husband, my mother, like people around me, but no one was able to get me through what I was going through other than God. Leaning on God and my faith and getting into the word and speaking things over my life, and, you know, just basically surrendering and submitting my life to him, because I was trying to figure out life Monique's way and not seeking him first and allowing him to truly lead my life and be the guiding center of my life, right? I was trying to do things my way. And you cannot live this life by thinking you know it all, by thinking you got it all together. Like at some point, you're going to have to submit and surrender. And I knew that that point was a moment of like, listen, I'm going to just give everything to you because I don't understand why this happened. But I trust you, right? And that's very hard. That's very hard to do. Like to say, like, I don't understand why that happened to me, but I'm going to trust you, and I'm still going to praise you, and I'm still going to thank you, you know, in the midst of that situation. Um, and that's hard to do. And so my husband and I, we started going to church because, you know, that's what helped us get through the day, right? That's what helped us get through the week, was going to church. And I remember, you know, we would go to the altar, and there was this lady at the church, and she appeared out of nowhere, and she started praying for us. And that was when like it was a shift. And I was like, okay, like I know this is nothing but God, and God is pulling me closer to him. And he used, you know, that situation again for his glory. Because if that didn't happen to me, you know, I probably wouldn't have the deep relationship and connection that I have with God today through that. And every day I'm still learning, every day I'm still growing, every day I'm still, you know, learning and trying to get a deeper understanding. Like we're all a work in progress. I'm not perfect. But that pain allowed me to deepen that relationship, and that pain allowed me to really just rediscover who I was as a person as well too, because you know, I really didn't know who I was. I went to nursing school because my mom told me to go to nursing school. You know, I was living my mom's dream. She wanted to be a nurse, and, you know, nothing against, like, you know, her, because she did the best that she could raising us. And our parents' generation, all they knew was stability, was you get a stable job, and you know, get a job that's recession proof. Like that's all. That was what was embedded in my head. Like, you get a career job, work that job until it's time for you to retire. So she always instilled that in me, and she always instilled go to nursing school, go to nursing school. And so I did that because that's the only thing that I knew. And that's the only way that I knew to be successful was to go to nursing school. So all of my 20s, that's why I was so, miserable going to work because, it wasn't a fulfilling passion of mine, right? I had other desires that I wanted to do, but I felt I had to put my dreams and desires on the wayside and do what my mom told me to do. And I became a nurse. And it I felt like I was in a box. So again, like I didn't know who I was because I was living someone else's dream. And I decided, listen, you live once, like you got to do something that makes you happy. And once I started, going on social media, talking about, like I found joy in doing that. Like I find joy in what I do every single day. And that's how you know that you are walking in your purpose and you are living a fulfilled life because you find joy in what every day you wake up, you love going to work, you love what you're doing because I have fun doing it. So again, like I said, I see both sides. Like I know what it's like to go to a job that, you don't want to be there. And I know what it's like to wake up and like, oh, I'm excited to go to work today. Like I've been on both sides. So I definitely understand. And that's why I always encourage people to find your passion, find what it is that you love, and think about what is it that you would do if nobody paid you, and you just do that. And don't worry about how you're going to have the money, the funding, the resource. Don't worry about that. Like it's not for you to worry about, because trust and believe, I did not have money when I started. I worked as a nurse and we lived paycheck to paycheck, but what I had was a lot of passion, a lot of drive, and a lot of faith. And I just started. And once I started, God started to just, I swear, it felt like things, resources, people, money, like it was attracted to me because I trusted him. And I said, I'm going to just start. And I said, God, if you gave me this vision, you ain't going to give me this vision and just leave me hanging. Like you're going to give me this vision, you're going to provide everything that I need to be successful in doing this. And so I just started. So people that say I don't have no money, like that's an excuse. I don't want to hear that because I know. So I've been there.
So one thing I wanted to say is that I like to reiterate this a lot of times during the lives, that serving God is not about being perfect. We are serving a perfect God. A lot of people get it confused. Oh, you're supposed to be perfect. Your life's supposed to be perfect. Your marriage is supposed to be perfect. That's not what we are here for. Okay. Mm-hmm. So anything that's going on in your life right now, you need to really stand and trust God and know that he's going to use it for your good. You see how God has done things for her that a lot of people haven't even seen. Her going from just being a nurse, and then in 1 year she's going to Sally. And them giving you 80-something stores at first, or not? Was it 90?
Started in 95 stores.
95 stores, and it sold out 2 hours? You said.
Yep. Yes.
And I know they were probably like, wait, who are you? Like,
yeah, because they had never seen it. They were.
So the power of God, and I know the world encourages us to not follow God. It's not cool. It's not that. Or we see a lot of people who don't look cool. Like, oh, but it's a lot of cool people that you can look nice, still be yourself, and still follow God. It's not this chokehold. It's not this, chokehold in a negative way. It's not this whole chokehold that people think that you have to be under all these. You can't do this. No, God still wants us to live an abundant life. God did not call us to be poor. Just because if you have more money, it allows you to do more with it. It allows you to be more resourceful. It allows you to be more giving. So don't be afraid of, or you see a Christian with money, they must be doing something wrong. No, there are good people out here, Christians that love Jesus. They are not perfect people. We will never be perfect. That's not what we are striving for. That are wealthy, and that will not compromise their faith for an opportunity. So I just kind of want to keep reiterating that, because that's one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you, or that I just really love following you, because you stay so grounded. You had mentioned in the interview too about, she said when you got your 9-figure deal, about is the money going to change you or something? You was like, no, but that's not what I'm rooted in. Like, no, the money I'm rooted in, my confidence is in God. It's money.
Money only amplifies who you truly are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were already arrogant, money's going to amplify your arrogance.
Yeah.
If you're already humble, money's going to amplify that. So, you know, it's money does not define me. It's not who I am. Like I'm rooted, like you said, I'm rooted in my faith. And, you know, that's why people have those perceptions, and, you know, people say it all the time, like, you know, and they're actually surprised that like I'm still the same person. And I think it's hilarious because it's like, yeah, what type of people do y'all be around? But I know I get it because I've been around those people too. But that's who those people were before they had money. It amplified who their personality and their character.
So going back, so what was that conversation like when you told what actually year in the business did you quit being a nurse? Was it when you got the Sally deal or
what year? No, I quit 6 months later. Yeah, 6 months. And let me tell you too, like, so yes, I quit 6 months, and here's what happened. I remember like a couple of days, like around the first time when I launched the website, I remember typing out my resignation letter for my job. And I had dated it for like November in 2014. And I remember printing it out. I was super excited. I showed my husband. I was like, look, I typed out my resignation letter, and, you know, I'm a, you know, sign it, and I'm going to turn it in. I'm going to turn it in November. And he looked at me and he was like, you're not about to quit your job? Like, you worked so hard to be a nurse. And I did. I worked really hard to become a nurse. And because, you know, we've been together since we was like 16. So we've seen each other grow up. And I was like, I am going to quit my job. And he was like, you're not going to quit your job. Like, because we were used to 2 incomes. And so the company started and the business just took off. And I dated it for November. Oh, see, my old boss is on here, Crystal.
Hey, Crystal.
So just fun fact. So Crystal remembers me when I was a CNA. I started at University of Chicago Hospital when I was like 18 years old, and she was the one that hired me.
Wow.
So yes. So I was able to quit my job in October. I left my job in October instead of November. And my point of saying that is, write the vision, make it plain. Everything that I have, I've always wrote it down. Everything that I have to this day is because I wrote it down. And I write down my vision every single year, and I go back and check it maybe every month, every couple of months, because it says write the vision, make it plain, so he that reads it may run with it. So it means write the vision, make it plain, go back and look at it so you can continue to hold yourself accountable to what you write. And like, if I can literally show you the things that I write down and show you confirmation that it happened, you'll be blown away. So I tell people all the time, like, the power of visualization, the power of, you know, writing it down, like, it's so powerful because he tells us to do it. So if he tells me to do it, then I'm going to do it, and I'm going to hold him accountable for what he told me to do, and he's going to make it happen and bring it to fruition.
So when you actually quit, like, what was that like in your marriage? Like, was it like any like pushback, or your husband was just like, all right, here we go. We just don't walk out on faith. That's what we doing. That's what's about to happen.
Yeah, that was pretty much like, you know, what it was, because like he saw how passionate I was, and he also saw like how this was an outlet for me. So it was like, you know, he is I mean, he's the man of the house, so he's always thinking logically. Like, I'm a more calculated risk taker, right? That's why I'm an entrepreneur. I take calculated risk. So you know, when I came home and I was like, yeah, I don't have a job no more. You know, he was like, well, I guess we just gonna roll with it and we're gonna figure out how to make it work. And we figured out how to make it work.
And so now going from just starting off and his income now going into this I can't even put it into words what it is. How has that shifted? Like, do you have to say like, hey, because your marriage is very important. Like that's number one, right? But because the business is growing at such a fast pace, how are you able to, I wouldn't even say balance, because I don't think that you can balance in
Right.
life. I think that you juggle. So how do you juggle between the two? Do you have to step away and say, hey, you know what? I'm shutting this meeting down in your schedule. It's time for me to go with my man. Okay, I need to go on a date.
I mean, it's always a challenge, but it's like you just got to be intentional about making it work, and making sure that at the end of the day, you don't forget that you're married and that you still have to like each other. You still have to be around each other. You still have to date each other. You still have to be friends. You still have to communicate with each other. And like I said, we've been together and known each other for so long. Like I know him like the back of my hand and vice versa. So like we work so well together because we have two different skill sets, right? And two different focuses. And we also respect each other's lane and we respect each other's gifts. So that's first and foremost. And even in my office, my warehouse, I have it designed to where like my office is on a whole total opposite end of where his office is at, right? And that's designed on purpose, you know, so we are not on top of each other, and you know we can have that opportunity to like miss each other. Like sometimes we at the office together and I don't see him. Like
Mm-hmm.
in his office, I'm in my office, and but that's intentional because we do work together and we know that we're around each other so much, but you still have to create the opportunity to like miss each other to and come home and like, man, I ain't seen you all day. So that still creates like that intimacy and I guess the spice. I don't know if that's what you want to call it, but you know, so it works well for us. And you know, it's just like I said, prioritizing each other. And again, everything happens, you know, by keeping God first. So if you keep him first, everything else will be added. And you know, that's how we operate our household. It's in my Instagram bio, like God, family, business. Like business always comes third. You know, my family, my faith, that's always gonna, you know, come first. And so when you are um, when you are very disciplined in how you operate and what your priorities are, that's how you make it work. Do you always get it right? No. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, it's the perfect. Like, no. You know, sometimes I have to remind him, like, are you gonna take me on a date? Like, but you know, it's you just got to make it work, and you know, it works for us. It may not work for everybody, but it works for us.
And that's another thing I want to say too about like marriage. Women, if you are not married, do not think that marriage is about being perfect. And if you are married, if you are going through a rough season or a rough day in your marriage, it's still not the end of your marriage. You know,
Right.
that doesn't that it's the end all be all. And that's just something that I'm trying to push and promote. We see a lot of people trying to say, well, I'm just not happy anymore. Like, that's not what God is yeah, that's not it. That's not it. You know, some days you probably won't like this person. You won't be in alignment or agreement, or it might even be a season.
Uh-huh.
However, it's not about that because everything in life is seasonal.
Yeah.
And marriage is no different. You know what I mean? You might be on the outs right now, but like you say, you still got to show up. And not just to work like in your workplace, but to work like living like, well, you know what I'm saying, amongst each other. So that's something I always try to encourage. So
Yeah.
now that,
If you fight for what you want, right? And if
right.
y'all want to stay married, y'all gonna fight to stay married, right? You know, marriage is not easy, it's hard, but nothing in life is easy. Like you gotta fight for everything in this world to you know, that's worth it, right? So if you're looking for an easy route out, you might as well keep looking because anything that's easy is not worth having to me.
Yes. So you said something about your pastor told you prosperity comes with prosperity comes persecution. And what is this in prosperity as in your marriage, in marriage and in business? Can you give 2 examples of that?
You said what examples of prosperity in
Kind
marriage?
of what kind, like, so like say if you have went through an instance like a rough time and you see how God used that rough time to bring about not necessarily prosperity as far as money, but just a good time in your marriage.
Well, I would say, you know, when you in a marriage going through like the loss of our son was like a extremely tough times, and like, you know, some marriages don't make it through situations like that. Um, and for us, it actually brought us closer. Um, because like we linked on each other and we were there for each other. So I would say like, you know, that's a definite moment that stands out to me. And then also like we're building a brand, like our company, even though the success you see it on the outside. Can you see me?
I see you and hear you.
Okay. I was saying like even with building a brand, like it's, even though people see the success on the outside, like a lot of people don't talk about their struggles of like building a brand on the inside. Like, you know, we had a moment where, you know, we did not have money coming in, you know, at a season, and it was really tough. And, you know, and I talk about this too, like we were looking for investors, and we were in talks with this one investment company, and the deal didn't go through, and we really needed it at that time. That's my husband.
Hey, husband.
Girl, gym working out.
I love it.
But anyway,
You be working out too. You be
yeah,
working out all the time too.
he just distracted me. Anyways, yes, I do work out. um, okay, so I was saying like, you know, we had an investment group that basically like turned their backs on us, and we were like literally trying to scratch our heads figuring out, okay, like what we gonna do. But again, that situation brought us closer. It made us stronger. It taught us a lot. It taught us, you know, how to really understand the importance of the finance and business, because again, like that was not an area of experience for us. And so, you know, a lot of the things that we've learned together as business owners that may be like dark times for us building this brand have been times that have, you know, brought us closer, because we see, you know, how we can come out on the other side. And, you know, like you said earlier, like we secured a 9-figure investment deal last year. So it was like going from a moment of an investor turning their backs on us and seeing how God, that closed door was God's, like I always say, man's rejection is God's protection. Like that was him protecting us from that at that moment. And because he had a bigger door that he was going to open within the next 2-3 years, I didn't see it, but now I see why. Like they turned their backs, right? So it's like situations like that, like, you know, that, you know, it's a dark place, but it's like, man, like it can't help but bring you closer.
Yeah. When you said something else about, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong. You were $2 million in debt.
Mm-hmm.
$2 million in debt, and I think that's so wonderful that you were that transparent to say that, because from the outside looking in, you're in Sally, you're in Target,
Right.
you're doing this, you're doing that, and here you say $2 million in debt. We think that entrepreneurship is such a linear path, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yes, I took one step forward, but sometimes you get knocked $2 million steps back. You know what I mean? And so now for you to, it has, for now to have God to have brought you from there to where you are now. Like, I just think that's just simply amazing for that to be a part of your testimony, and just being able to share that with other people. Like, it doesn't have to all just be, sometimes it's going up and then you go back down and you probably get knocked out a little bit more further. So can you kind of expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, like I said, like people don't share the dark moments. And, I say it all the time, like, and I see it all the time. People on Instagram, they're posting their sales numbers and you see 1 million in sales, 2 million in sales, but what does their profit look like? Are they a profitable company? Like that does not impress me because I'm like, look, let me see your financial statements, okay?
Right.
And because again, everything looks pretty on the outside. And when we were like, business was growing, business was booming, but because we didn't have a true understanding and we didn't have the right people in place, that's why hiring people is so important, and hiring people that have the expertise and the experience that you can learn from. People that you hire, you should not have to be teaching them. Like they should be there as an asset to add value to your company, to help grow the company, right? We didn't have the right people in place, granted, because we didn't know. And so like people ask all the time, like, how do you know how to hire the right people? You don't know. It's trial and error. You're gonna have to find out. And especially with like, we didn't have any mentors either at that time. So we had a lot of people that were in place that did not know what they were doing, did not know how to manage our books. You know, we were still learning about balance sheets and profit and loss statements. And when you don't have the proper management, you're just spending, spending, spending. I was spending, growing the company, but wasn't really paying attention to what I was spending. And it, I look up and I'm like, oh, yeah, we're $2 million, and like, how are we gonna fix this? And that was at the time when I talk about the investment. Like, we needed those investors at that time to get us out that hole.
Wow.
When they turned their backs at a moment like we were like really down. And then a couple of months later, we were able to secure an investment from New Voices, which they believed in us. They believed in they laughed at our problems. Right? Like, can you imagine you have like, you know, issues in your brand, and you're seeking you're seeking funding, and like when you finally get that person that believes in you and they look at your problems like, oh, we done been there, done that. Like, we're gonna help you. Like, that's what I mean, like laugh at our problems. Like,
Oh, okay, okay.
not in a negative way. I'm not saying in a negative way at all. Like, they laughed at us like, oh, those are baby problems that you guys have. Like, we're gonna help you. But that was, to me, like, again, that was nothing but God. Because a couple of months earlier, yeah, and just for correction, yeah, I'm not saying that they laughed in a bad way. I'm saying like they laughed like our problems were nothing to them and they were going to help us. That's what I meant. Um, but a couple of months prior to them investing, um, the other investors turned their backs on us. So again, like, at a time when I thought I needed it, we still got scrappy. We figured it out. We got through it. How do we figure it out? Like, sometimes it was times that we didn't even pay ourselves. That's how you're really passionate about what you're doing. When you paying your employees and you're not even paying yourself, like, sometimes we wouldn't even get paid because we wanted to make sure our people were good and the business was going and the business continued on, because I knew like our faith was strong enough to know like God gonna get us through this. We don't know how, but He gonna get us through. And then a couple months later, we had the opportunity with New Voices, and they invested in us, and that really helped, uplift and change the trajectory of the company. And that's why, like,
Wow.
let me also add this, um, and especially in Black businesses, like, we don't have the same resources and opportunity to scale. And sometimes it's looked upon negatively when you take money in, from private equity firms, from investment groups. Um, but how else can you scale if you don't have the resources and you don't have the funding? Like, if you're okay with being mediocre and staying where you're at, then don't take nobody's money. But if you want to grow, and my vision is to grow globally, like, you need resources, you need expertise, you need funding, you need access. That is what it takes to grow a brand. And that's why I'm really passionate about educating our community on, scaling a brand. Like, don't look at taking money from private equity companies or investment groups as something that's bad. Like, look at it as, a step up. Like, you're elevating, you're accelerating, your goals and your vision for your company. Like, why can't I be the next Estee Lauder, or I'm just, throwing whatever's off top. Like, the next big, why can't I have that? I should be able to have the same access and opportunity as my counterparts, right? But they are 400 years ahead of us because they've been doing it for so long. How do we get ahead as people? The only way that we get ahead as people is if we do the same thing, and then after we do it, we reach back and help others do the same thing. That's what New Voices did to me, right? Like, with him, with what he did, Richard Lou Dennis with Shea Moisture, opening up that fund to reach back and invest in me, like, that's how the ecosystem continues to generate, right? That's how you scale businesses. And then you reach back and you help others. Like, that is the right thing to do.
No, hold on, wait. So Shea Moisture, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to say anything wrong about anybody's business. Isn't that almost like the same, right?
No, I mean, as
hair care, right?
Yeah, it's a similar, like, it's a hair care company, right?
Wow.
Yeah. Crab in the barrel mentality. We can't look at each other as competitors. We should look at each other how we can help each other, right? I never viewed him as like a competitor. I met him back in 2016, and we became friends, and he was a competitor. Like, I don't look because I focus on me, and I operate my business from a place of abundance, and I know that there's room for everyone. And as long as I focus on me and focus on how I overserve my community, how I continue to deliver great products, like, and I think Beyonce said this on her album, like, I don't worry about the competition because you don't think like me. Nobody thinks like me.
That's what I say all the time.
So, and I don't think like the next person. So I don't view anyone as like, I'm not intimidated, because your brain can't get into my brain. And how my brain operates, that's a gift from God. He blessed me with that. So I don't worry about, like, who's doing what, or like, I literally stay in my lane, and I'm great in my lane.
I did not know that. That is so amazing to see that. Sometimes we think that if somebody else is doing the same thing as us, we can't, I can help you do this. I can give you some advice on how to do this. Whatever God has for you is for you. You can still help somebody that is doing something similar to you. Yeah. Whatever blessings God has for you is for you. You don't have to stop sharing things with other people in fear they're going to surpass you or take from you. Your portion is your portion. Your portion is not my portion either.
Yeah.
I think your story is absolutely amazing. The more I'm talking to you, I'm like, you have to be my mentor. Like, somebody else said that in the comments. I'm like, no, she can't be your mentor. She about to be my mentor. So with him actually pouring into you, is that what prompted you to do? I've heard this a million times. What is it? It's the program that you do to help businesses. What is it called?
More Than a Strand? Or More Than a Strand?
No. It was something else. It was called.
Are you talking about the partnership that we did with Rutgers University, where we sent entrepreneurs to school? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it was like a catchy phrase, and you were talking about. I think you were talking about it on The View. You said it a few times. It was something that you do for entrepreneurs, and you said that you want to get them the same opportunity and knowledge that you had.
Yeah, that's More Than a Strand. That's what we do on More Than a Strand. So that's the partnership that we had with Rutgers University and Newark Business, where we sent 60 women across the globe, not just in the U.S., to approach.
No, Secret Sauce. It's Secret Sauce Academy. That's what it is.
Oh, okay. Duh. Okay. I do two different things. I thought you were talking about the program. Yes, Secret Sauce is also for entrepreneurs. And the Secret Sauce retreat, I do that every year for Women's History Month. So that's a small, intimate retreat where I take women from women all across the country, and they fly into Cancun, Mexico, and we spend 3 days together. It's very intimate. I bring my resources, my friends. all the people, like you said, that keep me grounded, that have poured into me, that have helped me in some way, shape, or form, I'm sharing my resources with those women that come to the retreat. So I always switch it up. I have a lot of different resources. I have a lot of different mentors. And again, it's about sharing, you know, my resources. Like one year, this year actually, we had Angel Beasley, who was a buyer at Walmart. Right. She is a powerful Black woman that is behind the desk that gets new brands, existing brands at the shelf in the multicultural hair care space. Right. So I brought her there because I know that there are brands, aspiring brands that are interested in how do they get into the retail space. So again, that's a resource that I have. We have a great relationship and I wanted her to come. So for me, it's all about just how can I share my resources? Because when you talk about mentorship, like, you know, I get a lot of messages from people that, you know, want me to mentor, but I'm only one person. So I can't mentor like everyone because I'm still operating and running a business. So this is my way of how can I still mentor in a bigger way, but still more intimate and still share my resources with, you know, women, aspiring women entrepreneurs. So I do that every year. And it will be opening up soon. We are planning is well underway, so we'll be announcing like the registration for the retreat. So and it's just like amazing. It's business, but like I am very balanced. I like to have fun. I know
Swag
work.
I saw y'all swag surfing.
Yes, I also like to have a lot of fun because, as they say in the Bible, Jesus also party too. So we can also party and have a good time. It's okay. Okay. So yeah.
Yes. So is there any advice before we wrap it up? Is there any, hold on, somebody had a question in the box. Oh, it says, can you repeat the vision phrase? It's write the vision down and make it plain. That's what it is. Somebody asked, what was the vision quote that you had?
Yeah, write the vision, make it plain so that may read it and run with it.
You know, another interesting thing that I learned about you was that Rashida was your first person that you met. What are three things? Hold on one second. Rashida was the first person what was it? That she was the first person that you
work with.
That you work with.
Huh?
I think that is so sweet I think that is just so sweet that, you know, hearing how that just wasn't that long ago, and now look how much is grown just from that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you saying like I had to go meet her, I had my confidence, I had to go say something to her after the fact. You went to a networking event, but hold on, let me get to the question. Hold on. What are three things as a married, God-fearing woman you suggest to single women to develop within themselves to possess when they become wives? That's a good question.
Ooh, that's a good question. What
I know.
Advice for single women to develop in themselves before they become wives? I would say, so first and foremost, like I've been with my husband since I was 16, so I don't really have experience as a single woman in adult years. So my answer may not necessarily be as relatable, but what I can speak from is just my wisdom from knowing other single women. And what I would say is to truly just focus on self and defining who you are as a person, like know yourself before getting into a relationship. Because as I mentioned earlier, when me and my husband got together, I didn't really know, like I was a teenager, so I was still growing and developing, and I didn't really have my own identity, right? But you know, one of the great things about our relationship is that he helped push my own identity, right? And discovering who I was, and he was supportive of going on that journey of figuring out who Monique was. And okay, sometimes, you know, you don't always have that. So I would just encourage her to really discover who she is as a person, have your own identity before going into a marriage, because you don't want to go into a marriage taking your husband's identity, right? And not, you know, being full of who you are, right? And I would say also like not being afraid to, once that time comes, once you are married, like being a submissive wife. And I'm saying that to say, like, not saying that you're a weak person, not saying that you don't have your own independence. Like, that is not what that means. You can be a submissive wife. You can still be independent. That does not mean you're weak. What it means is that you're honoring and obeying God, because he created the man to be the head of the household and the woman is his rib, right? So making sure that you are his rib, right? That doesn't mean that you don't have a voice. You still have a voice, but not being afraid to let him lead. But what's important with a man who leads is that you can trust his leadership of the house. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, we'll say one more question. Let's see. What advice would you give me to still believe that I can achieve my goals? I feel stuck.
You feel stuck. Hold on, my screen is late. What advice? So first I would ask, like, why do you feel stuck? And I will ask that question because I would want to make sure that you don't feel stuck because of comparison to other people, especially in this social media society that we live in. A lot of people feel like they stuck because they're comparing themselves to somebody's chapter 300 and they're on chapter 1. So are you truly stuck, or does God just have you in a season to really help grow and nurture you and develop you to prepare you for what he's getting ready to bring you into? You may not be stuck. I don't think that people are stuck. Like, I just don't believe that. I just feel that people feel that way because of everything that's going around them, and they're not truly taking the time to get to know themselves, to be still, to listen from God and wait for God to give them their next move. And because they're trying to do things in a hurry or try to speed up the process or do things their own way instead of waiting for God to lead them. And when things don't happen in their timing, you know, they're like, okay, things is not happening. Like, I feel stuck. Like, no, it's just, it may not be the right timing. Like, you may be in a season where, you know, God is trying to show you something. He's trying to teach you something. He's trying to, you may be going through like a pruning season. A pruning season is preparation for where he's getting ready to take you. So I don't look at it as like you're stuck. You're just going through a pruning season, and just to stop and listen to God and ask for wisdom so he can give you the direction of where you should be going.
Yes, I agree with that 150%. I feel like I went to cosmetology school. Oh, this is the person who said that. She says, I feel like I went to cosmetology school and still ain't working in the salon. So now I have to get any job just to make money.
Is that a question? Or is
no,
that...
that's in response to what the question that the person asked the question. That's what she said.
And then I'll also say, like, are you in alignment with God's will? Because sometimes when things are not working, it's because we're out of alignment. And I'm gonna give you an example. When I was working as a nurse, and I think I was pregnant with Mackenzie, and I decided, okay, well, so let me back up. Working as a nurse, I tried to start a lot of different like businesses because I always had the entrepreneurial bug, right? Every time the business that I tried to start didn't work, I would be like, okay, maybe nursing is for me. Maybe this entrepreneurship is not for me. Let me go back to what I know, what I'm comfortable with. And I decided that I wanted to go back to school to advance my career in nursing, get a, you know, higher degree. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just be a nurse practitioner. Went back to school. I was pregnant with Mackenzie. Mackenzie ended up coming early. She was premature. And so I had her early. I was in the hospital. So I had just enrolled in school to go back to be a nurse practitioner. So granted, when she came early, all my school plans, that went out the window because I wasn't thinking about school. I was focusing on my newborn baby. Right. And so, you know, didn't think nothing of it. So I dropped out of my classes at that time. And then a couple of years later, 3 years later, I enrolled back in school because I'm like, okay, now she's 3. Now I have the opportunity to go back to school. I'm going to go back and get my degree and being a nurse practitioner. And that's when I got in with my son, my 3rd child. And then I was in school the whole pregnancy. And then when that happened to me with the high risk and with the loss of my son, that definitely went out the window.
Right.
But now when I look back, I was out of alignment. Like I was going back to school and God was like, this is not where I'm trying to take. So every time I went back to school, I would get pregnant and then I would have to drop out of school because of high risk or, my child coming early. But I look back, I'm like, that's because I was out of alignment. I wasn't supposed to be a nurse practitioner. So that's why I said, like, it really takes us seeking him first and asking him, because if you ask for wisdom, he'll give it to you. If you ask him for guidance, he'll give it to you. I wasn't asking for neither because I didn't really know and understand that. But I realized that it wasn't meant for me to go back to school. It wasn't meant for me to be a nurse practitioner. But I could have said, I feel stuck. I feel stuck. I keep going back to school and I keep dropping out. Like, I feel stuck. But no, it was a redirection. It wasn't meant for me to do that. I was off course. I was out of alignment. So sometimes we also have to make sure that we're in alignment with what he's calling us to do. I'm not saying that cosmetology school is not for her, but what I'm saying is, like, just check her alignment with, is that something that she heard from God that she should be doing? Maybe God has a different plan for her. Maybe God has something bigger, but she's not stuck. Like, she just has to recenter herself and get closer with God and ask him for wisdom and direction, and he will reveal it to you. I have so many examples. Like, I could be on this live all day telling you examples. Like, seriously.
That was powerful. That actually helped me because I kept trying to go to school for something, and as soon as I was about to take a tour, they shut the world down.
Yeah.
And it was God showing me, like, girl, if you don't get your butt over here, like, what are you doing? That ain't what I got for you to do.
Yeah.
So one last question for you, 2-part question before we get off. I wanted to know, for the women who are married and are looking to give up on their marriages, what piece of advice do you have for them? And for women looking to get married, what piece of advice do you have for them?
So I'm gonna answer the one for women looking to get married. I would say, don't look for it. Just let it, again, focus on self, focus on you. Because I feel like when you go looking for it, you end up rushing into something that's probably not in alignment with who God chose to be as your partner. I would say, pray for God to send you your husband. Pray that, whatever issues and things that you need to work on internally, like, pray that you work on that and that he sends the right person for you. And I just feel that, it'll come. And I think it's a lot easier said than, like, because I know women, I have friends and people that I know that's like, I want to get married. I want to get married. But I've also seen women that are so hung up on wanting to get married that they're more obsessed with the wedding, and the nice and fancy, pretty things, and, things that people post on Instagram. They're more obsessed with that than actually, like, what happens after the marriage. Because once you get married, then you got to work on staying married. So I think that, people sometimes romanticize, like, the wedding and not that the marriage takes work. So don't be so obsessed with that, but be obsessed with, like, finding the right partner that knows God. Because if he knows God, then he's going to see you. And then for women that are married, that are wanting to give up on their marriage, I would say pray on it. Definitely pray on that. because it could be different factors as to why. And, you know, I'm not one to say if you're being abused, if you're like being cheated on, like I can't say because, you know, I'm not in that person's shoes. So I will always just tell women to like pray on it and just ask God for direction because, you know, I do believe that if it's something that's uh, threatening to your life, no, I don't think that you should stay married. But I do think that you should ask God to send you the resources and the people to help you get the help that you need so you can get out of that situation. So that's a tricky one. And I don't really like to like say, oh, you should be doing this or you should be doing this
Right.
because that's a marriage is sacred. So I would just say like just pray on that and just ask God for guidance, what depending on whatever your situation may be.
Well, there aren't any more questions. We're gonna pray and then let me see. We hit this button. Hold on 1 second. Was there anything else you wanted to add, Mo? Look, I've been on live with you for an hour. I'm talking about Mo
Um, Listen, I think you listen. I told you like I'm an open book. I think you asked like I don't know what else to add.
now. I am so thankful for this opportunity, y'all. Let me tell y'all how prayer works. Just share this testimony. So, I don't even know how I started following you, to be honest. But then Melissa, who owns the Lit Bar,
Mm-hmm.
me and Melissa are in high school with each other. And actually, I sometimes work on some of their photo shoots doing hair. And she posted a picture of when you all did the Boss Lady,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yep.
Boss Lady thing. And when she posted, I'm just going through everybody's picture. Like, oh, what do they do? What do they do? And I saw, I'm like, oh, I'm already following this person. And when I see anything, when people say Jesus, I be all in like, you love Jesus too? Like, I'm all in like, oh, you love Jesus? Oh, we can be cool. So then I'm going through your stuff. And I'm like, I used some of these products when I went to Miami last summer. It was a travel size pack. It was a one single packet. And I'm like, I used stuff when I went to Miami. I was like, this is the person who made it. I didn't know that it was a Black woman who even made it. And
Yeah.
I was like, so then I started seeing you go live every Monday doing those lives. And I was like, I really like her. So when me and my boys, we would go to school in the morning, we would pray. And I would always say, what do y'all want to pray for? And I would always say, like, God, please allow me to go live with Monique Rodriguez, right? So I say right before I got in contact with you, I was playing with them and I was like, I give y'all $5 if y'all can tell me who do I want to go live with. So they were like, her name kind of Spanish a little. That's what they do. Her name kind of Spanish a little bit. But I had said your name so many times in our prayers to the point where they remembered it.
Oh,
And I just want to show y'all that prayer actually works. I said all to say like prayer actually works. And, you know, including your kids on your prayers and showing them that pray with them too. You know what I'm saying? And show them like, hey, I'm struggling in this too. So when they get older and they want to start a business or whatever they want to do, like they can say like, hey, my stepmom was praying for this. We've been praying together and look how stuff has happened in, you know, her life or whatever, or me and you on her, you know, your life or whatever. So I just want to say that prayer works. I am so thankful that you took the time out to even be on this live. You are a mentor in my head, like my big sis in my head. I just love the way you carry yourself and the fact that you just still choose God no matter what. No amount of money separates you from his glory. And I just think that's just a commendable thing, especially with so many people want to take credit for themselves. Like, yeah, you know what I did, and I did, yes, but you did it only because of him. Let's say that first. And like I said, it's so commendable that you still stand on that. Even when you're doing your retreat, you got on live and still went live. And I'm like, little things like that just says a lot about your character, and it just shows that God is flowing through you. And so I just want to say thank you again. We're gonna pray before we head out.
yeah.
But I want to restate that my name is Carrie Moore. If anybody is just joining, and I am the owner of Queenpin, which is a faith-based button pen company that uses the word of God to encourage believers and non-believers worldwide. This is one of the pens right here. We have God's timing is perfect. I don't know if you can see it, but God's timing is perfect. And with one of our pins, I created I'm a Praying Wife. And from there, I produced a small film called the Praying Wife Project. And that is used to encourage women not to give up in their marriages and to give women who are in marriage some type of insight of what it takes. Mm-hmm. So from there, I've been going live every Tuesday with different women. And in this specific season, I'm highlighting women with larger platforms. I don't like the word celebrity. And we are talking about no matter the fame, fortune, or successes you have, there's still not only a need for Christ in your life, but in your marriage too. So next week, make sure you all tune in. We will have Patricia Moore. I love her. She's on here now. Hey, Patricia. Hey. She'll be on next week, and you all do not want to miss that episode either. And if you all are new to me, you can go back in and check out any of my old live episodes. We talk about God's timing is perfect, miscarriages, in-laws, step parenting, a whole long list of things. And it's just all about being transparent. We are not perfect people. We do love Jesus, but we are not perfect. We are not trying to be perfect, but we do serve a perfect God. And we just want to constantly reiterate that. So we're going to go out in prayer. And then, like I said, thank you so much, Mo. I appreciate you. Yeah. I appreciate you. Do you want to pray or you want me to lead us out?
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Okay. You can go ahead.
All right. Well, I was trying to say thank you to everyone. Okay. All right. Father God, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we come before you. And Lord, we thank you, God, for this evening. We thank you, God, for this live. Lord, I pray and I hope that this live has touched and blessed so many people, God. I hope that your gospel and your word has been spreaded and embedded in the hearts of those that tuned in tonight, Lord Jesus. Lord, I thank you, God, for using us as a vessel, Lord, for marketplace ministry, God. I thank you, God, that you have used me, Lord, to show people, to inspire them, to follow their dreams, to pursue their passions, God, and to know that no matter what they may go through, no matter what trials and tribulations they may be facing, that as long as they praise you and thank you, God, that you will ultimately see that they have the victory, God, in everything that they do, God. Lord, I'm praying for those that are on this live, God, that you bless their visions, that you bless their ideas, God, and that you bless them with the resources, God, with everything that they need to be successful, God. I pray, God, that you remove any fear. I pray that you remove any doubt, any worry, anything that's in their heart that's trying to keep them from fulfilling their God-given purpose and destiny, God. We come against it and we bind the tactics of the enemy. We come against any demonic spirits or any demonic forces of evil that's trying to come against the acceleration of their career, of their lives, of their family, God, according to your destiny and your will, Lord. I'm praying for those that are seeking you, God, and that feel like they may be stuck, God, that feel like they don't understand or know what their purpose is, God. I am praying and interceding my faith on behalf of them that you intercede wisdom and wisdom and knowledge into them, God, like never before, God, and that your purpose and that your will for them will be revealed to them like never before, God. Lord, touch them supernaturally, God. Touch their minds, touch their hearts, God, and let them know that you are here, God, that you have never left them, nor will you forsake them, God. And so, Lord, I thank you, God, for all that.
Can you all still hear me or see me? No. Can you all still hear me or see me? Oh, shoot. Can you all still hear? Oh, hold on, wait, y'all. I don't know what happened. We'll see if she joins back in for a second so we can properly just log off. This live has been so good. Yes, I am going to say this live, everybody. I'm going to give it a few seconds to see if she's going to hop back on. Though we try to so important. Let's see if she hops back on. Dang, y'all. I'm just give it a few more seconds to see if she hops back on. She was going in on that prayer. My people be thinking I be praying. Mo got the prayers on lock. Thank you. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Kelly. Ebony. Both Ebony's. Brianka. Hey, y'all. Y'all tuned in. Thank you so much. This was just confirmation. Thank you, God is so. Yes, God is so good. Yes. This was amazing. I don't know. That might be it. That might be it, y'all. Okay, well. Let's see. Yeah, something happened on her phone. All right, y'all. Well, make sure you all tune in next week. If you all love this live, I'm telling y'all next week is going to be incredible too. Everybody who's joining on these lives, I really admire them either near or far. So make sure you tune in. I'm going to be interviewing Patricia Moore, and she's going to be sharing wonderful testimony as well and dropping a lot of gems. So make sure you are here next Tuesday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here, Carrie Line, and follow my business page, Queenpin, QP_Queenpin. And I love you all. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Peace out.